Right, 21 slides, 21 seconds a slide. I don't dare have a drink. And as soon as I press this button, it's going whether I'm in charge or not. So this is either going to be very insightful and funny because of me, or through watching me die on my feet. We're off. So it's a privilege to be speaking here today. This is Herdy. This is the brains behind the operation. He's sitting over there. That was the face when he realised he was in charge of a £1 million budget. This is me. You know what? Paid social is not the answer to everything, but creating effective messages targeted at audiences who you understand is going to give you the ability to interact with an audience unlike you've ever done before. Because waiting for a click to buy is like waiting for your pet dog to bark. It's never going to happen. There's so much more going on. Google doesn't account for people. It only accounts for numbers in Google Analytics. So you've got to understand how real people think and act so you can understand your audience and have effective targeting. So when to use Facebook? Audience development and thought leadership is a key one. How to build a following, how to make people think you know a lot. Acquisition of new customers or recruitment. We use recruitment and Facebook advertising a lot. The challenge is that people always try and hit acquisition before they've gone and done some prospecting to build an audience. And it doesn't work. It's trying to sell before you're ready. But Facebook's got some dirty secrets that it doesn't want you to know. So the first thing is they really, really, really want your money, even more so than Google pay-per-click. But you don't really start getting attention until you're spending about 250k a month, and their account managers rotate all the time. So in order to get the best out of that, you've got to make sure you've got a really good framework measurement. Hit objectives, goals, KPIs, the targets that you're going to set and the segments that you're going to hit. It's how to make it board friendly. Even though it's got this soft and fluffy social aspect to it, until we can convince the money people that what we're doing is working, it's never going to grow as much as we want it to do. So here's Opoly. It's someone that we've been working with. August 2016, they spent £5,700 and they made £24,000 back. Once they started to understand their audience, August 2017, 13 grand spent back, £463,000 return. That's an ROI of £35 to every pound spent. Herdy does a fantastic job. Favourite quote of mine: best audience is intelligent and slightly drunk. And my favourite quote from this one is: the last mosquito that bit me ended up in rehab. You've got to live and breathe what your audience think. You've got to really understand what's going on. And depending on what they're looking for, you've got to help them along the way. So if we look at the different segments and the different adverts that we can write, new audiences and engagements, click campaigns, use bright photos, use the words that they're using on website visits. Make sure that your remarketing and your dynamic remarketing isn't the whole of what you do. Because new audiences, they need to see stuff. They need to be enticed. When they're thinking, they need to build trust. And when they want it, they need good calls to action and finally good offers. Use your funnel to allow you to make the decisions that you need in order to hit the messaging that's right for your audience at the right time. So we can use things like video ads, which we can use for boosting reach and brand awareness. We can use banners and carousels, which are really good at pushing traffic and use lifestyle imagery. And then also you've got your collections and carousels, which are perfect for driving conversions. And what I want to do is share with you some of the stuff that we've been doing. So in the style, Instagram stories, you know, it matches the demographic that they're looking for. I've used so many fashion examples because they're polarized. They're not bland in what they're going for. Feed videos to hit reach and awareness, but not pushing sales. We're trying to make people aware of us. We've got plenty of time to sell to them once they want to buy what we're selling. And then audience carousels, light tones of voice, product images, no heavy sales hook. No one wants to be that person at the networking breakfast that walk up and says, do you want one or what? That's called the Salford close. And remarketing, no time for laughing, remarketing, heavy tone of voice, and these direct hooks And when you get all of that right, ROI is easy to produce. People like buying off their friends. If you do social, if you create good messages that resonate with your audience, they become your friends, they buy, they have massive ROIs, but you've got to invest in the time to prospect. Next. So, here we go. Use your first party data properly. Please don't anyone ask me about GDPR, I'm not sure. But use your CRM lists because they're pivotal to building great success. And what you can also do, really quickly, take your most engaged followers on Twitter, take IBM Watson supercomputer, run it through and get it to do an automatic psychographic evaluation of them, and it will tell you how they think to target your audience. Use prospecting to build your lists, but what you've got to make sure that you do is avoid overlap, because that's where you start losing money. So exclude web visitors and purchases from the last 60 days out of your segment when you're prospecting. Use your targeting parameters efficiently to make sure that you can target exactly the kind of people that you want to do. And don't just spam the life out of remarketing, it burns out really quickly. Think of the story that you want to tell. Dynamic remarketing is a part of the puzzle, it's not the whole thing. And that also goes if you're using Criteo or any of the third-party platforms to do that as well. We're trying to sell a story here. So to deliver the best return, don't waste budget. Don't deliver the same ads to the same users all the time. Ad fatigue is high. Adjust your bidding according to the time of day. Different people buy at different times. And also use your relevance scores to control cost per click, because there's no point sending one message to one audience with that audience being massive. The clone zone. I think one of the most important things that Facebook's working on now is its lookalike audiences. Taking your database, using its proprietary knowledge to build lookalike audiences. It's definitely the place where you can expand, but I wouldn't start by saying that's the place where you're going to get immediate ROI. But if you use lookalikes properly and use your targeting and you have good landing pages and you have good creative, you can boost your relevance scores. And you can see there as a massive example of same click but a massive reduction in cost just by having relevance scores that are much, much higher. Like it is in AdWords, it's definitely the key to it to have something that's clever. Attribution. God, I don't know. As all I know is a lot of our clients like last click attribution. And as all I know is that real people search in the car, search on the toilet, search on the train, do multiple searches, and then they expect to say this one user bought. You've got to start investing looking in your attribution management now if you're going to spend a lot of money. So with my last slide, what we do, we partner with brands with digital transformations. We help them acquire new users, we retain most valuable customers, and we increase basket values, normally in more than 21 seconds a slide. Thank you very much for listening.